Hello again, Wayne from Omega Blue Farms. These are my bronze turkeys. I've been breeding them for about 23 years. I built the line from scratch just by combining backyard flocks and creating a nice commercially viable flock that also wins awards at the poultry shows. Now, these boys could have something to say about food security and the threat our government plays, how it works against us and works against our food security here. About 21, 22 years ago, I got a letter in the mail. And the letter was from the Turkey Marketing Board, and it said, cease and desist, your turkey flock is illegal. It is not approved by British Columbia, and if I want to maintain my flock, I had to get permission from them. And part of getting permission would have required me it's a $25 permit. It wasn't that big of a deal. But when I read through the permit, one of the conditions of the permit is that I give the Turkey Marketing Board jurisdiction over my turkey flock. So I wrote back, I contacted the Turkey Marketing Board and just said that that I didn't recognize their authority. And they says, well, the province gave us authority over every turkey in the province. And I went back and I says, well, my turkeys don't belong to the province. They had no right to give you jurisdiction over my turkeys. And therefore, again, I will not give up that jurisdiction. These are my turkeys. They're my intellectual property. Well, 20 years later, I've never heard back from them. And that's the key detail. I've never relinquished jurisdiction over my turkeys. I don't buy my stock from the hatchery. I hatch my own. I maintain my own closed flock. And therefore, there's no way for the government to correct data on what I raise and how much I raise. And that has allowed my flock to survive and persist. If I complied, they could be gone. Now, we have more threats along the same line. Now, there's a global initiative called Premise ID. And in Premise ID, farmers and all people raising animals are expected to register their animals with the government, register their flocks, so say that, hey, we have these animals on this property. And they say it's for emergency reasons. And a lot of jurisdictions respect that intent in that they make the Premise ID voluntary and they also don't apply strings to it. BC is different. BC takes Premise ID and exposes their true agenda. Here in BC, Premise ID is required. And when you apply for Premise ID, if you read the fine print, by applying for Premise ID, you relinquish jurisdiction over your animals and you hand it to the government or hand it to government employees, past government employees, and those third party interests that work on behalf of the government that serve, like the SPCA. Well, once again, these are my intellectual property. Why would I give jurisdiction to the SPCA? That makes absolutely no sense. So I do not have Premise ID. And for that reason, my turkey farming is non-conforming. The BC government does not recognize it as a credible farming activity. They consider it illegal because it's independent. There is no room in British Columbia politics, in the British Columbia government, for independent food production. Their goal is to take it out bit by bit. I've been watching them creep and croak all the way through, slowly tightening the noose. And I can feel the noose getting very, very tight. I'm still alive. I'm still surviving because I've never signed a document. I've never gotten a permit or a license not relinquish my right to privacy or relinquish my right to my property, jurisdiction over my own personal private property. This is key. This is important. And it's something that farmers need to learn. If you care about food security, then you must care about food sovereignty. And sovereignty means that it belongs to us. It does not belong to the government. The government's view of food security is food that they control. That's because we have an imbalance politics. There's too many bureaucrats voting, and we're getting laws that favor the agenda of the bureaucrats, which is the agenda of the globalists. We need to fight back, say no. I've been saying no for 20 plus years, but I'm getting more and more of a rare breed, and we need to start fighting back. And I'm glad to see the ostrich farm fighting back. It's unfortunate they got themselves into the crosshairs. It's really unfortunate. Unfortunately, they're there because they made the mistake of complying. They didn't view the government, didn't treat the government like an enemy. Here at Omega Blue Farms, the government is well recognized as the enemy. And we handle the government accordingly. And we all, as Canadian citizens, as British Columbians, need to start doing the same. And there you go. Wow. We can call these two Heckle and Jekyll. What do you think? Anyways, talk to you later. Have a good day.